Welcome to the second test stream for the development of Infinity Abyss. Doing just some new streaming tech, because honestly, last time around it wasn't super impressive, but we obviously didn't pull all the stocks just yet. Testing some of my noise suppression and whatnot. It's not very responsive. That's my only issue. Okay. There's the obvious problem that it's going to start picking up music in the background, and I'm quite sure.
What?
Quite sure I'm gonna have some issues with YouTube, but that's okay. That's what editing is for. Hopefully, I don't have any issues. Okay, let's quickly pop up the application capture, and then we can get started. Ooh, it's off center. Okay. Fixed. We quickly fix my character. Put him right here. This is a good spot. 1 second. Let me quickly test some. Sweet. Okay. Let's quickly remove the UI visibility and we can get started. Now, last time I left off, I was stating that we needed to fix the lighting later on, but I think I might as well do that now, because it is kind of disturbing me just a little bit. Just a little. Let's see what else we can get done. I think we can get far enough today to probably finish one of those structural pieces that I was talking about. Now, if you guys still hear background noise, I apologize, but there is unfortunately nothing I can do about that. There is currently a noise suppression and a noise gate active, but they are only so good.
I know. Yeah, you haven't finished the last time.
Let's see. I need to copy and paste some of our settings.
You went out to,
Copy. This, put that into lighting. Okay. And honestly, I think. I might also have to copy some of these extra visual effects. Now, unfortunately, this won't fix everything because we do have a custom lighting system. We have an auto contrast system. Not auto contrast, what's the term? Auto exposure, there you go. So we have an auto exposure system that enables the ability to just walk under, let's just say, a shade, and things will kind of start adjusting. Or if you enter an open area where there would logically be more light, the light level will increase. not necessarily the brightness, but the exposure of it. So I guess the amount of coverage that light has over your screen. I believe that is the accurate term for exposure. That essentially means. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up later. Now, where we last left off, the material pack, is we did not finish setting everything up. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. We will be snagging some materials from layer 1. Now, unfortunately, our programmer made these textures, and he didn't name any of them. Insert an object, file, folder. Now I know I'm giving him a bit of a tough time here, but he is the sole reason why the game is functional at all. I used to get comments stating that I'm the one who made the game, which is partially true, also partially false. I made all of the visual, or most of the visual assets in this game, including the plants, which isn't so much the case now because our programmer chipped in with that too. Full extent of visual stuff that he made was the material packs, or at least the unnamed ones, like this one right here. I made the named versions. He did the lighting system, or at least the new version. The old version I made, I programmed the old version. And he quickly adapted it. I guess you can kind of count this as visual, but he also worked on the improvements to the environmental hazard system, which I originally started up as a sort of conceptual kind of project, but he took it from there. And he was able to elevate it a whole lot more polished, way more polished than I ever possibly could make it. He made the rigs, very, very important. He made the animations, also very important. I made most of the plants, most of the building assets, most of the relics. And I made some of the tools.
Yes.
So that's kind of my role. I'm just an artist. No more, no less. And I wouldn't give me all the credit. Anyway, gapping aside, let's quickly... Should I name it, or am I too lazy today? I feel like I'm a little too lazy. Let's see how he set it up. That's the real issue. Naming it was never the problem. That helps. Let's call this V's unnamed pack. V is our programmer, by the way. This is the name of our programmer. Okay, let's see if we can. We have some saved terrain here. Let's quickly delete that. I do not want that to accidentally load up. Which is how I was able to port these terrain pieces. We have a custom plugin for that. We have a lot of custom plugins, including a custom terrain plugin that I didn't make, or programmer did. But I did give input on it. Here it is. This is VTerra. I'm quite sure I have the old version of this. Doesn't look like it. This is pretty new. But that's just me briefly showing it. It has a lot of interesting features like noise, which you can utilize to do things like if you want to do stalactites on the bottom face of this cliff, you definitely can. You can do that in the base terrain editor for this engine, but it's not as good. It's not as realistic, and you kind of have to put in the extra effort to make it look good, which is not a big deal. I tend to do it anyway, but occasionally I don't have that kind of patience, and I just use VTerra. VTerra also allows custom brushes by using meshes or parts. So you can import a, let's just say, a corner wedge part, scale that up. We can go into the terrain editor. Now let's see if I can remember how to do this. Snap. Snap. It does not want to snap. It's okay. Okay. I don't think he programmed this to snap. Good to know. Let's go ahead and change. Here it is. So, to add a custom brush, we just select this, and we import that, as you can see. And we just select the brush. Let's quickly exit out of select mode, then that might interfere with it. Let's go add. See, we have a custom brush. Very, very good work. Not sure we'll be releasing any of these plugins to the public, but we'll see. This is purely just to aid in development. Because there are a whole lot of limitations with some of the stuff the engine provides on its basis. And we looked at that and we are like, let's add some extra functionality. And when that wasn't enough, we kind of just improved it even further and we just made our own plugin for it. So, I think it was a good move. Alright, let's try to do some training. Now we are going to be using the default editor, but that's only because I had noticed a couple bugs with the terrain editor that we can use to our advantage. And that is, you can actually bypass the limit of terrain complexity. So normally, let's just see if this works. It might work, we'll see. But this should normally not let me duplicate it. So we're gonna do, oh, okay, I guess it will let me duplicate this. It's a little surprising. Usually it does not let me duplicate that. But to briefly demonstrate what we do, so I just simply drag, and that does this little bug thing. If I press Ctrl Z, I now have a duplicate of the terrain piece. And it doesn't really matter how big I make this. Can always do this bug. I do notice that there are some issues to memory that this tends to cause, and terrain does not scale very, very well, as you can probably see here. But other than that, incredibly useful bug, and we'll be making extensive use of it. I had a really, really shitty example of how I wanted to do this later. We go to a private place and kind of see how I make layers to begin with. Let's go to find it. There's still a chance that I cannot find this, because I didn't really add too much to the place. I was just doing some terrain edits, and for whatever reason, the website doesn't display a thumbnail that would be pertain to the image of the game, so it's kind of confusing figuring out which place is which. And I know you can fix that by adding your own image, but I tend to be pretty lazy. I don't think I can find it. It's okay if I cannot. We don't have to stall it any longer. We can just kind of YOLO it. You only live once. YOLO. see here. No, we cannot find it. Okay. It's alright. It's not a big deal. We can always do without it. So, starting off, we want to go for essentially a curve. So the way that I picture layer 1 was kind of like stepping stones, like stairs. Now, I imagine layer 2, which is what we're currently working on, is more like an hourglass kind of shape. You have a lot of peninsulas kind of like jutting out, a lot of cliff faces, a whole lot more hills and slopes. So to briefly kind of emulate that, we go ahead and stretch this. And we're going to expand. Now, I have to remember that the size constraints that I'm dealing with here are the following. You'll see these two massive plates here. So this is the top teleport plate, and this is the bottom teleport plate. And what these essentially do is, I guess you can probably guess that these would bring you up or down a layer. But this doesn't tell you the full story, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure if we set it up yet, but... This is probably not... Okay. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be in the game for very much longer, but that's okay. That was the old teleport system for the peninsula here. The lift, sorry. So you would enter onto this and you click one of these buttons, and that would teleport you. So that really means all of this here is for show. And you'd probably end up here. This is where you'd enter. Yada yada. Why is this closed off? Interesting. Is this not how you get it? I guess not. You have to go all the way around. Oh wow, we love Walking Simulator. I love Walking Simulator. Walking Simulator is so good. This is why I play RPG MMOs. Anyway, I got a little distracted. So we would essentially have a bunch of teleport pads all the way around the, not necessarily pads, but they would be points of interest. These points are routes, and the teleport pad will bring you one up layer according to whichever pad you're closest to. So if I were to go up a layer and I went into Route 1, I would end up in, let's just say I started in Layer 2. I would go up a layer and I would end up in Layer 1, and I would be in Route 1 of Layer 1. So that would kind of look like... I've explained this once before, so it's not an incredibly difficult concept to understand. But this is how we spice up gameplay. So we're going to duplicate this. This would be like the other side of the layer, let's just say. And these teleports would be all across the layer, I guess you could say. And these would exist on the top and bottom. So let's go ahead and put this at the bottom as well. And essentially, if we were to keep on Route 1, let's just say this red square right here is Route 1. If we went up and we touched this huge teleport pad, we would be transported up to route 1 of layer 1. That makes sense. If I were to go to route 2 and I were to go down, I would end up in route 2 of layer 2. And this is the case for every single pad here. You do not need to step on these pads directly. It takes the average distance of the player into account, and it kind of does an assumption. What you do need to do, though, is be in contact with these large teleport pads in order to register that you reach the very top or the very bottom of a layer. So I hope that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I think I might honestly take advantage of these pieces right here. They're pretty powerful. I should probably avoid the usage of them, but I might end up doing so anyway, because this is more of a layer 1 piece. Because as you can see here, this is just a huge column with a lot of places that I can put like stairs. I mean, this is already a sort of starry nature here. This right here definitely kind of exposes that fact. So you got the top, then you got a stepping stone here, and then you have a stepping stone here, and it kind of just keeps going down. So I don't think I'm going to be using that too much. Or at least I'll try not. What I'll instead use is these, because these have curves on them. You know what? I have an idea. Let's spice things up a little bit. Let's go ahead and add some background music. This should be a standard, honestly. Hopefully that'll drown out some of the background music that is being picked up by my mic. Let's go for the Infinity Abyss soundtrack, why not? Let's make sure that the audio does in fact pick up my desktop audio. Good. Yep. Turn down the volume just a little bit. Looks good. Alright, I'm back. As usual, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Try my best to answer. Unfortunately, it is a little inconvenient that I have to go into my recording software and check chat. So it's not very easy for me to do, but I'll do my best. I of course tend to forget that YouTube will put advertisements on your own work. So what I'm going to do from now on is, I think we're just going to use BandLab for this. It is my music. I don't know why they're putting ads on my work, but that's okay. This should work just fine. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Again, if anyone has any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer. All right. See how many questions we got. We got one question by Kong. How many layers does the game have now? Currently, we have only one layer. We used to have at least 2 done, but we are revamping layer 2. Case in point, we do have some assets left from layer 2. If we were to go down here, you can actually see the leftover Seeker hideout. We decided to keep this. I think it looks pretty good. Juan made this, so it's got a full interior. So this is going to be kept. But the restable layer we had to unfortunately scrap because it does not meet our standards. Case in point, if I were to go to layer 1, which this is about the only amount of exposure of layer 1 that I'm going to give today. Give me one moment. So this is layer 1, and I know it doesn't look like much right now, but if I were to go ahead and press play, I'm not too sure where I'm going to spawn in, but that's okay. So you can see all those green boxes were replaced with trees and whatnot. You got your animals, you got your much nicer texture mapping for the terrain. You got your plants, you got your collectibles, you got terrain assets like these structural pieces here. So we have to bring the current layer, the second layer, to this kind of standard. Otherwise, I honestly don't think we'll be releasing it to the public. And we did promise that release would have at least 2 layers. So that's kind of where we're going to stop at. It is a little unfortunate that we have to redo layer 2, but I think it's pretty reasonable that the old layer kind of looked subpar, and we want to fix it. Quickly bring this back to layer 2. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. That was a pretty good one to start off with. We're going to change up the background music to something else. I cannot use YouTube music, obviously, because it's just going to give me an advertisement. And we don't want to do anything with copyright. So I think... Let's do the soundtrack. Why not? This is a good soundtrack. Oh, more questions. Which character do you like most in Maiden Abyss? I think this is probably a unpopular opinion, but I think Rika is a pretty cool character. Not gonna lie. I just don't like the way that they are kind of like written in the story. I think they have a lot of potential, and they definitely could become a great diving leader for their party. And I think they could also become pretty proficient in using their white whistle. But I don't know, that remains to be seen. Really depends on how Akihiro wants to write up the character. Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome to the stream. Anyone new just chiming in, make sure you can go ahead and ask any questions you want. I'll try my best to answer. It is a little inconvenient that I have to go and open up my recording software to respond to questions, but I'll try my best. Okay, so this is about the part where my computer should start lagging, but I've done this before, and this is going to give the abyss its main shape. So we're going to duplicate. So far, so good. I'm a little surprised it's handling this so well. But I do have a pretty good computer, so I guess I'm not too surprised about that. Ah, that's why I didn't actually copy any of the geometry. Sorry, I know a way around that. I reached the limit of the train mover, fortunately. There is a way around this, but it doesn't seem to be working quite as well as I thought it would. Alright, well, I know a way around this. I'm going to go ahead and restart Studio. And we're going to close this. So while Studio restarts, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to layer 1. Alright, it looks like it worked. So we're just going to do this pretty much all the way around the abyss, and it'll be partially done, though we have to use these smaller pieces that I have up top. Alright, I think this is where we'll be ending off the stream. I noticed that a couple more people joined in, but unfortunately we are going to have to end it here. I will answer one more question before I go. Anyone have any questions? Let me know. So currently we have L2 almost done, or at least the large structural pieces are put in place. There is the lower area of L2 that we need to do, but after that it should be ready to go for the smaller pieces that we have up here. How will the combat be? This is a good question. Actually, maybe this is spoiling it a little bit too much, but let's see here. If I quickly go back to L2. I can actually show you what combat currently looks like. Ooh, I did not realize I muted my mic. So I was saying that the curse reset command unfortunately did not want to work, but that is okay. You said to demonstrate like fighting mechanics in game, and I think that should cover that. I had to fly to find a spawn point because unfortunately spawner names do not phase through walls, so I had trouble finding one. Little unfortunate, but it is what it is. And this is where we're going to be ending off the stream. This is, of course, just a test bed. I'm going to have to tweak a whole bunch of stuff. The bitrate for the stream is a little bit slow, so I apologize if there's any lag for the stream, and I also apologize if you hear any background noise. Alright,